What's up, guys? This is Rapmastayoda from Dark Lords coming at you with another video in our Arena Domination series where we are taking you guys, and what we want to teach here is the best available concepts, technology, and ideas that are going to get you guys placing rank 1 every day in Arena, hopefully. So today we're talking about mods, advanced theory. We've already done a mods basics video. Make sure you guys have checked that out because we want to make sure we're all on the same page as far as mods. And today we're going to be jumping into some advanced theory, and less so are we talking about this character this way or that character that way, but we're going to talk about some general concepts, some theories, and how the top level guys are doing it in Arena on a daily basis, and talk about how to take the mods you've got and put them to work for you the best that we can. So sit back, relax, grab a cold beverage, and let's do this thing. So the first concept I want to discuss with you guys is the differences in modding specific for a character and modding that character to fit into a team that you're working with. So to look at character specific, we're going to use Ayla as an example, and this is why. She's got a very unique skill set. She's got this ability, which is the main thing we're working around, which is a 65 counter chance with 50% counter damage, and then she stuns on crit. So to maximize this character's individual potential, we want to elevate her survivability so that she sticks around and she can get a lot of extra attacks with the counter. And then we want to elevate her crit chance and then her potency and offense if possible to really punish opponents by making her hit hard and stun repeatedly on these counter attacks. So you can see the set bonuses. We're just running 2 crit chance bonus sets. Obviously we would want to round out another set, maybe either crit chance or health bonus, and we'll take a look at her mods. You can see that we're kind of sticking with the theme of elevating survivability. We've got a lot of protection, a few health here and there, some really good protection mods. This one specifically, some more protection, and then again some more protection, and then we've got a little offense stacked in there where we can to make sure she hits hard and punishes the opponents for attacking into her. Now, on the other hand, we want to talk about modding for unique team ideas or team lead characteristics, and in this example we're going to use my personal hero, Nihilus. This guy, I've been running him as lead for a while in Arena, so let's check out his leader ability. Currently we're not Zetaed, so we'll bump it down, see what's going on. So we get 60% offense and 100% health steal for Sith. They lose all protection, gain that much health, and they're immune to other healing abilities besides health steal, and they cannot crit. So this creates a unique need for different characteristics. So basically we want to give these guys as much survivability as possible. We want to buff up their health and protection. As you can see, we're like up over 60,000 protection here on our Nihilus, and we want to make sure that these guys can hit repeatedly, and then we're using GK to give them retribution, counterattack, and continuously refill their health. So on this guy, we're running a health set bonus and then a speed set bonus. He's a rather slow character. We want to make sure that he's hitting fast enough and doing his force drain so he can cool down Annihilate quick enough. So we've got some speed secondaries on here, nothing great. The speed set to pump up his speed, but we've got a lot of protection primaries and secondaries. So this is a good example of how to do it for a team. And while Ayla, the way we have her modded, fits into a team, this is more a unique team-based modding. So the next concept I want to introduce to you guys before we start talking about primaries, secondaries, and set bonuses is the idea of breakpoints. So in any strategy game, especially mathematically based computer games like this, there is generally numerically some type of breakpoint where things really start to matter. So the way this applies to us in mods is the different levels the attributes are affected, because each different statistic that's on a mod does a different thing. So the best analogy that we can use for that in game terms is the difference in a health primary versus a protection primary. So a health primary only grants you 5.88%, and a protection primary grants you 23.5%. So while you're figuring out what your breakpoints are and what you need to affect with your mods in your character statistics, generally you're going to get a much higher value out of doing 23.5% protection versus 5.88 health percent. As you can see here, our health is, we're only getting a 2848 bonus off our mods, as where our protection we're able to get 16,000. And I know on this particular character you can go even further than that, and 60,000 protection is not really unrealistic. So that's a little bit about breakpoints, how to understand them. So now we'll jump into primaries, secondaries, and set bones. So now we can dive right into the characteristics of the mods. The first characteristic that we need to talk about is the mark, or the dot level. Obviously, we want to be shooting for all 5 dot mods in Arena. Sometimes if you find a 4 dot that's gold, that's insane, that levels up right, or fills some specific need in your mod set, it's okay to use. We want to make sure that we level them up to 15, obviously, so we get our max set bonuses. Those are pretty simple, straightforward. Then we'll jump into primaries here, where things start getting a little bit different. So we'll run through the shapes one at a time. The square is always offense, 5.88%. The diamond is always defense, 11.75%. So these are two you don't have to worry about what primary you're looking for. These are all secondaries. You want to be getting the best available secondaries on those two mods. No worrying about the primaries. Then we get to the circle, things start changing a little bit. Now we have some option. So you can choose either between 5.88% health or 23.5% protection. And I got to tell you, protection always wins out. There are certain times you're going to get gold health mod drops, and they're just going to have insane secondaries on it. It's okay to level them up, and if you can fit it into the team and the character doesn't need a whole lot of protection, and you can kind of make that sacrifice for some killer secondaries, there are some times that you want to go with that, but generally the default here is protection. Then we move over to the cross. We've got a lot more options here. Generally, we want to stick to either potency, protection, or sometimes offense. There's different cases and scenarios. There's no hard and fast rule here, but generally you're going to get the most bang for your buck with potency or protection, and then maybe offense depending on what your character or team needs. The triangle is generally defaulted to critical damage, but protection is also really good here, especially if you run a team like I do, Nihilus. I don't need crits, so I like a lot of protection here. But critical damage for guys that crit hit, you get a huge bonus. You get 36% extra critical damage, and that's always great. And again, we're talking about getting the most bang for our buck. And then finally, to round out the mod set, we've got the arrow, which generally we've defaulted to speed, but what we're starting to see in high-end modding is we've got a lot of guys going for mods where we get away from the speed primary, get a really high speed secondary, 15 or greater, and then we're only sacrificing 10 to 15 speed, and then we're getting a great bonus by either using accuracy, critical avoidance, or protection here. So you get 12% on the first two, and then you get 23.5% protection. Those are some huge bonuses that you can get, and you can make up, especially if you're using the speed set. You've got a lot of great speed secondaries you can make up elsewhere. Now we're going to jump into secondaries, and this is where the mods start getting very complex, and this is where your understanding needs to be the highest so that you know how to manipulate the 6 available mods that you've got and put together these awesome 6 mod sets. So when you're looking at secondaries, this is where breakpoints is really going to apply that we talked about a few minutes back. So this mod in particular, I want to take a look at this. This was a gold mod that was dropped out of the flash event, and you can see that it was already equipped with these 4 secondary statistics, and this is the way it ended up. So luckily, we got a triple roll on our protection, granting us over 3,000 protection as a secondary, which is absolutely insane. It's way above the breakpoint where protection is effective as a secondary. And then you can see that we got this 1 roll on the speed and left us at 7 speed, which for a lower speed character, this is on Ayla. She doesn't need to be very fast because she's a counter attacker and generates a lot of extra attacks between her counter attack and her basic. So 7 speed is definitely at or above the breakpoint for a low speed character. So this is a great mod as far as secondaries, especially for this particular character. And it started with a gold mod, and that's what you get. Now, on the other hand, we're going to say this was probably a green mod, and we had to bump it up to fill out a set. So here you can see we've got a lot lower secondaries on this, and they are kind of below the break point. The 3.26 critical chance, I would say that the breakpoint, if you're trying to max out critical chance, is 3%. And on this character is very nice because we want her to have a really high critical chance. If you can stack a bunch of 3% critical chances up, then you can dramatically affect it and maybe even avoid having to use a critical chance set bonus. But this kind of shows you a tale of two mods here. The difference in one that was gold to start and the difference in one that was green, or this might have even been blue, had two secondaries. Definitely didn't have any more than that because you can see we're low end on everything except the crit chance. And that's what you're looking for in game on mods. You want to get back to these where you have the correct primary and then you just have outstanding secondaries. So understanding the breakpoints, something like 1500 protection, 10 plus speed, things of that nature, that's where you want to be. Secondaries that you want to stay away from are usually these percentage based ones that you can see, like this percentage health. That's not really doing anything for your character. Flat health is also not doing anything for your character. They just don't go high enough to really effective change. You know, if you've got 40,000 health on a character and you add 232 health on one mod, that's not going to make a huge difference. And again, we want to be thinking about what can we do to get the most effect out of each mod that we place on a character, because at the end of the day, you're putting 30 mods on your arena team, and we want to maximize the potential of each of those 30 mods. So the final characteristic about the mods that we want to discuss are the set bonuses, and this is where the things get very complex. So we've talked about the primaries and secondaries, and I feel like those are the two most important things, and set bonus is kind of an add-on after the fact. We want to make sure that we're targeting the correct primaries and then getting great secondaries on mods before we're worrying about the set bonus. There are plenty of guys that are running nothing but health mods and exceeding very well in Arena, and that's what we're talking about here is Arena. We're not talking about how to mod for raids or any other facet of the game, strictly Arena. So as we scroll down through the sets and take a look at what each one does, these are all stats that can be affected by primaries and or secondaries. So it's important to remember that the whole scheme of the mods, the primaries, the secondaries, and the set bonus all go together to make our mod set for each character. Those 6 mods, the primaries, secondaries, and the set bonuses, that all stacks up to give you your final raw stats. Now, a couple things that I want to enlighten you guys on is with these set bonuses, when you have a percentage set bonus that also has flat secondaries, the percentage bonus applies before those secondaries does. So if you're running a speed set and you have a lot of high speed secondaries, I think Smithy D did a great video on this where he showed a before and after. It definitely applies the percentage before it applies the flats. So you want to keep that in mind when you're doing your math and trying to add things up. But all 3 of these different facets, the primaries, the secondaries, the set bonuses, they all go together to form these aggregate stats, which is the numbers in the white, and they show you the add-on that you're getting from the mods. That's the bonus you're getting granted off of your mods, and we can really do a lot with a character. And again, that goes back to what we originally discussed as far as modding for your character versus modding for the character in the team, and kind of molding that character to fit into the team that you're doing. And again, what we're looking for is the most bang for the buck. So like Kenobi here is a tank. We've really tried to increase survivability. He's already got pretty high physical damage. You can see we didn't really stress ourselves on adding a lot of that with the mods. These are the things that you want to do, and you want to do them smartly, and you don't want to get caught up in using a certain set bonus. It's great to have a speed set bonus, but if you don't also have great speed secondaries, and if you don't even need speed on that character, you may be shooting yourself in the foot when you could be just running additional health, defense, or another set that may really bolster that character's individual traits really well. There are some certain characters that like certain ones, but I don't like going with hard, fast, and rules like Some people may suggest that you run 3 tenacity sets on Rex. That is an absolutely terrible idea. Tenacity doesn't work the way it does, and even though I've got Kenobi here with the tenacity set, those happen to be 2 pretty good mods. I'm not really worried about the set bonus. It's not doing a whole lot for me. He still gets stunned or other negative effects applied on him quite frequently. So just remember to be smart with your set bonuses and don't get trapped in using, especially the ones that require 4 mods of the same to get the bonus. You can really lose a lot of ground on the primaries and especially the secondaries. Secondaries is where we're going to make all our money on the mods. That's where we're going to get the most change and where we can really manipulate the character. So keep that in mind as you're looking at set bonuses, and we'll talk a little bit about investing into mods here in the next section and how to farm the different set bonuses. So now we want to discuss investing in mods. Everything in the game, every facet of it is an investment. Either you're investing time, resources, money, or in some cases all 3. Depends on what your play level is. From free to play up to whale, you need to have some kind of plan in place to make sure that you're getting mods at a decent clip so that you can continue a flow in, and as you build more characters, build more teams, do more with raids, etc., you have the mods available. So the best and only way to farm mods is through the mod challenges. This is where you're going to get your 5-dot mods that you need. They come in the different sets. They require a specific team for each set, etc. We covered this in the basics video. So what we want to do is talk about some things that we can do on a daily basis to increase the number of mods. And real quick, I want to point out that mods, farming these through these bonuses and then selling them back, is one of the few ways currently in the game where we have a way to convert one raw resource, in this case Cantina energy, into a mod and then sell it and turn that into credits. And cool, we got a gold mod here right off the bat. So we're definitely going to take a look at this. We can see there's a gold mod. So look, we got a primary protection. We've got a good secondary protection. So we're going to jump over. We're going to level this thing up in a minute and see where it goes. But we want to talk a little bit more about the farming of the mods. So what I want to do is encourage you guys to figure out some amount of Cantina energy that you want to budget, whether you want to take your natural gain and use your natural gain on a daily basis to farm the mods, and then buy a refresh and then farm characters with the refresh, or if you want to do the opposite of that and use the natural gain for a character and then buy a refresh. That's personally what I like, so that you're working towards multiple goals at one time. You don't want to dump all of your eggs into one basket. So let's buy a refresh and let's just kind of see what we get through farming some mods. So everybody has a different stigma on how to do this, certain numbers, and there's like mathematical ways. So you can see here we got a bunch of white mods, nothing we're interested in looking at. Those are going to go straight into the sell bin later. Nothing to take a look at. I like to just farm them in groups of 3 until we don't have enough energy. Again, some white mods. We can't really complain because we got a gold mod on the first hit. So yeah, a bunch of white mods. So when we're farming mods, what you're looking for gold mods or purple mods, straight up speaking. If they're blue or green, take a look at them, see what the secondaries are. But unless you're getting a speed secondary, or it happens to be like a protection primary with a protection secondary, and you really need protection on a character, you don't really want to look at the white, the green, and for the most part the blue mods. You want to stick to the purple mods or the gold mods, because that's where your secondaries are going to increase the most, and that's where you're going to produce the best raw mods. So let's jump over here, and so investing both in farming and then investing in the credits, leveling these up. The credits are a big investment, and you want to make sure that you're not dumping credits into a mod that's going to end up being a trash mod, and you're going to find a better one in the next day or two. So we got a decent one with the gold drop, so let's take a look. I know some guys preach different characters that you need to use as far as leveling mods. Personally, I've been using Thrawn a lot lately just because I'm not using them for anything else, and I spent the time to unlock them. So we're going to filter by speed set. We're going to find that protection mod that just dropped. There we go, right at the top. We're going to assign this guy and then we're going to start upgrading them. Now remember that at 3, 6, 9, and 12, that's where your secondaries increase. Your primary is also increasing the entire time, and then the primary levels out at 15. So we're going to just jump by levels. That's how I like to do it. You can do it however you want. We're going to go up to 3. Okay, you can see the percentage health, which is arguably the weakest of the 4 secondaries, went the first time. So now we're really hoping, because it's a protection primary, we want to see the protection roll. Okay, the protection roll, now we're up to 924. Let's go ahead and take this guy to 9, see what happens. Okay, the health percentage went up again, so while that's not great, it is getting to be a little bit better secondary. Anytime you can approach 5, which is the max you can get out of a primary, that's good. And then let's go ahead and take it to 12 and see what our final secondary is here. Okay, so the health went ahead and upgraded again. Now, in the grand scheme of things, that's not what you like to see. It's a gold mod. We had 4 shots for the secondaries to increase. The health increased 3 times, and the protection only increased 1. But what I will say is, at the end of the day, other than this is a speed set mod with no speed secondary, as far as the role this is potentially going to fill and the type of character we would target this for, it's actually pretty good. So let's go ahead and take it to 15 and see what our final mod looks like. So we've got 23.5% protection, which is going to apply to the raw stat first. Then this 924 is going to apply over top of that. Then we're going to get a nice 3% health boost. We're going to get a little percentage defense boost, and then we've got 32 offense. So what we really would have liked to see is the offense roll a couple times and the protection roll a couple times, and then we'd be looking at a pretty good mod. Overall, this is kind of middle of the road. This isn't a great mod, but this is also not a terrible mod. I would definitely see myself equipping this maybe at some point, just not right now. I don't have a character that I really need this mod on, but this is definitely one that's good to keep around and save for the long run. Now, on the inverse, you can see we've got all these white circles. So what we're going to do is talk a little bit about how we can get a little bit of return on investment that's kind of a bonus gain, which is selling back all these mods. So if you go into the mod selling section and you select a few mods, it's going to add it up. It's going to give you a total. And if you're farming mods on a daily basis and once a week you take a few minutes to clean these out, get rid of all the mods that you really don't need, like these are all white mods. The triangle defense we're not ever going to use, and then these white defense diamonds, those are a dime a dozen. So we're going to go ahead and sell those off. We're not getting a ton of credits back, just 24,000 here, but that's only selling 4 mods. So if you're farming a lot of 5-dot mods and then you're selling off the chaff, you're going to get a nice little credit boost on the back end while simultaneously adding mods every day to your set. So it's really important to farm mods. We just want to make sure that we're looking for the correct mods and we level up the correct mods. We want to start with a good mod, purple or gold, with the right primary that we're looking for, and then great secondaries, which are usually going to be speed, offense, and protection. Those are kind of the tier 1 secondaries that you're looking for that you want to start upgrading. Critical chance you can also do a little bit with. Flat defense is often overlooked, and then the rest are kind of tier 3. Those are the 3.5 that you want to be looking for, and then you want to start upgrading. So that's what I mean when I say investing in mods. You want to make sure that you're on some kind of farming budget, and then you're also investing a little bit of credits, checking these out, see how they develop, but know when to get away from a mod. If it's got health percentage and that rolls the first 2 times, you may not want to keep going with that unless it's got some other just disgusting killer secondary that you're interested in. But honestly, the only time we get really good secondaries is through leveling them up. The only other way to get mods aside from buying the packs when they are available is the mod store. So I briefly want to touch on this, as this is another way to invest in your mod collection, and continuing to bolster your collection is the only way to really continue to level up as far as mods go. Once you've leveled them to 15, they are what they are, and you can't do anything else with them. So here in the mod store, you can either use a large amount of credits or a large amount of crystals to purchase a mod. And sometimes you can find good mods. Now, for instance, here we go. We've got a purple mod. It's a tenacity set bonus. It's got a speed primary, which is decent. It's one of the ones we're looking for this mod shape. And then you can see we've got percentage protection, not awesome. We've got percentage potency, could be okay, and percentage tenacity. This is not a mod that we want to invest 3,226 crystals in. And for the most part, the ones that cost crystals are not where you're going to get your good buys. You want to make sure that you're looking for the ones that are a couple million credits. You want to make sure that you keep enough credits on hand that you can buy those. I like to keep 10 million credits in the bank, and then ideally I like to keep over 3,600 crystals in the bank. So if your dream mod comes down the pipe, if it's a gold mod and it's got accuracy and it's got a speed secondary, an offense secondary, a protection secondary, and then, oh, let's say something else that's not awful, you know, critical chance secondary. All those are good secondaries that come down. If you really need that mod for a specific character, it's okay to throw out some crystals every now and then, but if it doesn't have really strong secondaries and more than 2 of them, I would look for 3 strong secondaries before I would drop 3,600 crystals on a mod. The ones that are a few million credits, I think they're somewhere around 4 million credits for the gold ones. That's a little bit more realistic. You can pick up credits through the credit heist, other things through your galactic war, and also we're earning credits by farming the mods and selling them back. So credits aren't as taxing on the resource game as crystals are. So just keep that in mind. Make sure that you're checking the mod store. I definitely wouldn't waste any crystals refreshing this guy. I would just see what comes and just have some money in the bank, put it away for a rainy day. If that dream mod that you need comes down the pipe, you want to make sure if you need it for a character, you don't ever want to be in the situation where, gosh, man, if I only had X amount of credits or X amount of crystals, I could get this mod and then maybe I'd beat so-and-so in arena. You want to make sure that you're ready for it when it comes, but also know that, you know, maybe once or twice a month I see a mod that I'm really interested in, and you want to make sure that you're buying them character specific. You don't want to just go out there buying a bunch of mods and using a bunch of resources that you can be committing to other parts of the game if they're not going to currently help you in arena or some other facet of the game immediately on a specific. So to wrap things up, we want to make sure that we are targeting great mods, and by great mods I mean 5-dot, getting them up to level 15. They've got the correct primary on them, and then they've got 2 to 3 good secondaries on them. Now at first, as you get into mods, if you're a newer player, a lot of this information may be a little bit advanced, so don't be afraid. Kind of take it as it comes and use the best of what's available. And then if you're a whale and you've got everything maxed out, you've got great mod sets already, just remember to smartly invest and to continue farming mods, because you can always find that one mod that's, you know, 5 out of 6 mods on a character are just absolutely phenomenal, and you need that 6th mod. You want to make sure that you're on a farming plan so that you keep getting a steady inflow of mods and then selling back the chaff so you can get some credits to continue to level them up or divert to other areas of the game. But at the end of the day, it's taking all the different attributes, primaries, secondaries, and set bonus, and crafting good sets for characters and characters within teams. So just to kind of take all of the things we've talked about, that's really the mods game to me. That's what I focus on as far as mods. I think that this will help a lot of people, at least I hope it does. I've had a lot of fun making this video. I really hope that you guys had fun enjoying it. If you've got any specific questions, feel free to reach out to me. YouTube, there's a link to my Discord server below. I'd love to get you in there. We can talk one-on-one if you need be. And, you know, as usual, I love any comments and any criticism, helpful or otherwise, that you guys can give us. I really appreciate you guys watching. I know this has been kind of a lengthy video, but I wanted to get all the information condensed into one place. So I really hope you guys enjoyed. Like, subscribe, share.